What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Mass Land Destruction, the MLD cast, if you will. The only Magic the Gathering podcast voted 5 out of 5 stars by my mom.
Oh, baby. Slay's
To-
mom's number one fan. Let's go.
She better be. Today, we're going to be talking about Commander, the Modern Horizons 3 Commander
Commander
sets.
Horizons 3, yeah.
Commander Horizons 3 might as well be Eldrazi Commander Horizons 3. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a quick one. We will get this knocked out and let's get it done first, and then the abilities copy.
Yeah.
So it's really, I don't know. This is still just fun. I love this concept of the two titans fused together. Like it's just this deck is gonna be absurd. This is gonna be so fun. 5-color Eldrazi is gonna be it.
I think my favorite thing about it is that I can finally play all those like cards from like the Battle for Zendikar card, like Eldrazi Displacer and stuff in like an actual Eldrazi deck.
Yeah.
So like obviously that's a good thing, right? But
Yeah.
I'm excited to try it. We'll see how far it goes, but I'm excited to try it.
I mean, in
100%.
Commander, it's gonna be and like us sitting around having fun on tabletop. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great on tabletop sim.
Oh yeah. Let's move on next. We have, and obviously you can take over this one because you're my big energy boy.
I love energy because it's a weird mechanic that just didn't have a lot of support, and then now it has a decent enough support. So this is Sataya Aetherflux Genius. It's 1 and a Jeskai, so blue, red, white. Human Artificer, Menace Haste 3/5. Another weird stat line. They like doing round numbers, and now they're doing odd numbers, which I'm okay with, but like whatever. Whenever it attacks, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of up to one other target non-token creature you control, and you get 2 energy. At the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice that token unless you pay amount of energy equal to its mana value. So
you want me to tell you why they're doing odd numbers powers like this? They just printed a creature in white that copies triggers of 2 power creatures.
Yeah, but Delaney works with Ulek, so like because Ulek is 2/5.
Yeah,
so,
but Ulek isn't like just free; like you have to pay for it still.
Yeah,
so.
but I'll pay 4 colorless to get to double Panharmonica on everything.
Double Emrakul.
Yeah. But so this one is, I like this because not only is it energy like generator for free, right?
Yeah.
But also at the beginning of your next end step, you can keep the token, which is like super unique. Because it's like usually when you make these token copies and they gain haste and they can attack, you sacrifice them, or if like especially like with like your theft effects kind of do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But here, you have enough. If you have enough energy, you can just keep the card, which could be ridiculous. Like having another copy of certain cards, it's probably going to be a little nuts. Like I think it's like Fairy Artisan. I think it's the one that makes a clone every single time a creature enters the battlefield.
Yeah, but you sack the clone the next time somebody casts a creature.
Yeah, but you can make like another Fairy Artisan and like get to keep it and just like do a bunch of crazy stuff. Or this also just works with anything that like makes energy when it enters, because you make the token enters, makes energy, and can sometimes pay for itself. So I'm pretty high on this card. We did just get another Jeskai energy in the Fallout set.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if Madison Lee was Jeskai or not, but she definitely is.
But I think this is better than Madison Lee, and then I think this could be on par with Liberty Prime. But it really depends, right? Because Liberty Prime, like I feel like Liberty Prime is like a fast hitting. Once you hit that 5-man and play him, like you're beating somebody down. Whereas this is more of like a slow and methodical style. So it really depends.
It's the energy has been such an underworked mechanic that them making 2 commander decks for it back to back, I think, is only a good thing.
Yeah, it only exists in those 2 sets, right? In Aether Revolt and Kaladesh. So like it didn't have a lot of support outside of that. And now that we get Modern Horizons support, we get the 2 commander deck support, I think it might possibly have like a good home in Commander finally.
Yeah, and I think there's always a chance we go back. So.
Oh yeah, I think we definitely can go back to Kaladesh at some point, especially with all the Yeoman paths and stuff.
Yeah. Let's move it on. Disa the Restless. I love a good Jund commander.
These nuts.
If I weren't an Esper player, Jund would be what I played. It's like the best of like there's no downside to it other than you can't counter spells.
Yeah, I'm a Grixis boy only because I like saying no, but
Yeah.
Jund is a close one.
Disa the Restless, she's red, black, green, and 2. She's a human scout. She's a 5/6. Fair enough power. Uh she deals with Lurgoyfs. the funniest-
We're talking about weird types and things that don't get a lot of support. The creature type Lurgoyf is on that list.
Yeah, whenever a Lurgoyf permanent card is put into your graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, put it onto the battlefield. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create a Tarmogoyf token. All right, Armor, you're gonna have to do it. Pop up the Tarmogoyf token.
I'll pop it up. I got you.
In post, yeah.
I got you.
Tarmogoyf is,
a mythic rare that got reduced down to a token, bro.
Is still played in Jund decks. Has been a problem. I remember in Modern Horizons 1 getting or not Modern Horizons, Modern Masters, the first one ever. I got the foil Tarmogoyf. I sold it for like 2 boxes.
Yeah,
it was absurd.
The big thing is like Tarmogoyf's not even good in Modern anymore. Like it's just not good, which is like crazy to think about, right? But yeah, it's not good.
It's so funny. Like, I mean, it's still a 2 mana, like 2
5, yeah, like a 5/7 most of the time, 5/6 most of the time. But the big thing,
Fatal Push is so good.
It dies to a lot. The big thing here is also like Tarmogoyf and Commander's also not that like impactful, right? Because you got a one of, but like this Commander, like an army of Tarmogoyfs is a little bit more respectable.
Yeah. Oh, however, we forget to mention that in All Will Be One or March of the Machines, Tarmogoyf did get a buff.
He did get another type, but yeah. I mean, whatever.
We have battles now.
The big thing here is like a self-mill strategy in Jund, which is like kind of unique.
So there's the hideaway enchantment where you mill 3. I mean, yeah, that's really the big one. Yeah.
Well, the big thing here is like even the secondary commander kind of self mills, right? Which we'll get to in a second. Yeah. But the big thing here is that you get to just throw Lurgoyfs for free, which can be impactful because you got to think changelings are also Lurgoyfs, not to mention all the Lurgoyfs cards you got from this commander, which is a decent amount. It's a decent amount of Lurgoyfs in the deck.
It's a comical amount of Lurgoyfs. Yeah. Even it's still really funny. We'll talk about it. I got all the Lurgoyfs on a slide at the end.
Yeah, it's so funny, and I think like I would have never thought about making like a Lurgoyf commander until I saw this card, and I was just like, okay, that makes sense. I'm okay with it. Let's have fun.
I mean, like reprinted in the set is Maskwood Nexus. We don't know what deck it's in. I don't think I didn't at least.
I haven't
didn't tell me what deck it was in.
Yeah, so. I don't remember which one it is in, but I think it's probably in the clone one, right? In Uma.
It would have to be like that's the one that makes sense, but like also like it makes sense in all these decks. So yeah, when we get to some of the stuff on the end, like couldn't tell you which deck it's in without looking, but it could be in any of them. But the Lurgoyf and the fact that the combat ability doesn't just require it to be a Lurgoyf that deals damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. It being unrestricted to like anything dealing damage is way better than like a Lurgoyf specific situation, because they definitely could have been like, whenever Lurgoyf deals damage, summon a Tarmogoyf.
But also it is one or more, but it's per player. So you hit 3 people, you get 3 Tarmogoyfs.
Yeah. Or if you have first strike on one of them, then you get a first strike damage to deal it, and then you get regular combat damage to make another one.
That's double strike.
But I'm saying if you have two creatures, first strike and then regular strike. But yeah, it's interesting. We'll see where it goes. And then next we got the fun situation.
Dude, this one is so funny. This one, dude, this is so good.
The Queen of Vesuva, Omo, 2 Simic hybrid, legendary creature, shapeshifter, noble, 1/5. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, which is weird because I still want to say enters is like they just haven't started printing the new wording on enters
this
yet.
Was printed before Bloomburrow, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, put an everything counter on each of up to 1 target land and up to 1 target creature. Each land with an everything is all land types in addition, and each non-land creature with everything on it is every creature type. So I think this card does the most degenerate things without meaning to. I think this
Dude,
deck literally would just do without no one understands. It's just like, oh crap, this works with this. I think
I mean,
we're still gonna
and
be
it's
finding that
Simic.
out later.
Like this is a Risen Reef deck. Like this is just Risen Reef. Like
Everything Risen Reef triggers. Everything's a locust. Everything's a desert. Everything. There's a bunch of stuff, right? It works
so
with a
funny.
lot of things, and it's like I feel like the further you go down the rabbit hole, the more you're like, wait a minute.
It doesn't give the lands any other abilities,
No,
but it just
all the
makes
types.
them all types. Yeah, this is definitely
Also,
like
the big thing here for me too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The big
Yeah.
thing here for me too is that the ETB or attack trigger is not one permanent. It's a creature and or a land.
yeah.
So like you get 2 of these everything counters every turn if you have the things to do it, which is kind of silly.
And it's also not that you control.
True.
It is any permanent.
You can give
basically.
something an everything counter on the opponent's side, so your non-basic land walk kills them.
You have a creature that has protection from something.
Yeah.
You now have protection from that creature. Yeah, the hilariously fun. The artwork is fantastic. She's wearing Helm of the Host. There's 2 of her, and she's wearing Helm of the Host. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's too good. They're killing it here.
I'm very excited to play with this deck for no real reason.
No, it's gonna be. This is one of those do nothing commanders where you're just doing shenanigans.
Like, I think like there's a lot of ones that are like cards that say like take a counter and move it and stuff like that, and like it could be cool. I don't know. There's the shenanigans that I want to do with this, and I haven't even figured it out yet.
Is there like a green blue? Like what? Because there's the red girl. Cowards can't attack, or cowards can't attack you. Like, is there a red blue or or
it's cowards can't
blue-green
block.
version of it? Cowards can't block.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I don't
that's
think
funny.
there's a red green version of it, but I mean a blue green version of it, but there might be.
I mean, this is so funny. Put counters, everything counters on like your opponent's scary creatures, and then like Crux of Fate dragons and kill all
blow up all the dragons. It's like a weird tribal, like changeling tribal style of deck without being a changeling tribal style of deck.
Yeah, because she doesn't have changeling. She is not every creature type. This is a shapeshifter noble, but it's not every creature type.
Yeah. The big thing for me is the land thing. I think there's so many things you can do with putting everything counters on lands. It gets ridiculous.
The land thing is degenerate. That is the degenerate thing.
Yeah, like I'm gonna play posts. Like I have to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's move on to the next one. We have Azlask, the Swelling Scourge. It's another 5-color Eldrazi. It is we're starting in with the backup commanders for these. This one's a 3-mana 2/2 Eldrazi. It when it enters the battlefield, when it or another colorless creature you control dies, you get an experience counter. And then you can pay Wooburg to give all creatures you control +X/+X and Annihilator 1. And or no, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
All your creatures get +X/+X, where X is the number of experience counters you control or you have. And then if you have scions or spawns, they get indestructible and Annihilator 1.
So here's a fun thing for me, okay? I don't want to build this in like a traditional like a Eldrazi deck. To me, I want to build this 5-color experience counters. I want to get all the cards that give me experience counters. Experience counters aren't restricted to the specific card that gives it to you. So it's not like you have Meliris or whatever her name was, the green black one, the clan, a Mirren of Clan Neltoth. It's not like you have specific experience counters for her and then specific experience counter for Azuri. It's like I'm just gonna amass a bunch of random experience counters from just playing the game, and then I'm gonna make a bunch of scions and spawns through things like Awakening Zone, or I forget the one that does the spawns or the scions. I forget. Yeah. But like I want to do that. I just want to make a bunch of random little dudes that like don't really matter, and then
you can also just jam an Omo in it and make all of your creatures spawns and scions.
You can, and like the cool thing here too is that this is obviously a design decision, but it works with scions and spawns because you sacrifice them. They die, you get the experience counter.
Yep.
So like the fact that they work together and it feeds itself is really good. The only thing is trying to figure out where I want, like, how to build it correctly, right? Because like, how do I turbo out experience counters and just like also turbo out these scion tokens?
So it just, but the other thing is it just wants colorless creatures. So
Yeah.
you can jam Skrell's Hive and make the 1/1s for free off of that.
True.
This might be the only time where the crappy red channel land comes in because it makes 2 colorless 1/1s.
Don't talk about Sokenzen like that,
Oh,
bro.
it's so bad. I hate it. Well, like this is a hilarious card. It's
Yeah. This
I
is
think
this is like a for fun deck for me. Like there's
yeah,
probably
I think
more
this is
competitive
your
version, but
this is I think this one is just for fun. The other one definitely the fusion is definitely the winner of the which one of these is better.
yeah, 100%.
It's crazy. It's hilarious. I love. It's so dumb, and there's so many ways to just make scions and spawns. Like,
Yeah.
and then Maskwood Nexus, put an Omo in here, make everything scions and spawns, win the game.
Yeah, I'm definitely pushing for this. This is one of the I think I have like 3 or 4 commanders that I want to like build on tabletop so we can play and jam them.
Yeah, this is definitely one of them.
This is one of them. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, moving on.
So we got Kaith, Famed Mechanist. It's a 1 and a Jeskai 3/3. Fabricate 1, which means when it enters the battlefield, you can put a +1/+1 counter on it, or make a 1/1 servo token. Other non-token creatures you control have Fabricate 1, which is ridiculous. It's very, very good. And then you can tap 2 and tap it and either proliferate or populate. So it feeds into itself because you can either populate the tokens or you can proliferate the counters on all your non-token creatures. But Fabricate 1, like, it doesn't feel like a lot, but it will get out of hand, especially if you're playing a bunch of cheap creatures. If like you're playing let's say like an Arcbound deck, right? This is great there.
Yeah.
If you're playing a bunch of like little things that like want to get bigger or you want to flood the board with a bunch of things, Fabricate does that phenomenally.
And I mean, and you're in red. There's all kinds of Porphyros, impact tremors, all sorts of those types of effects. You got white, so you can jam a Soul Sister in here and gain a bajillion life.
Yeah, I think this again, this is another one of those ones where I'm like, this pulls me in a different direction than the other commander's energy. But
yeah,
I like this style of commander, especially considering I already have like Amaris, which is pretty much an Arcbound deck. So like I like this because it's a colored kind of version of that I get to play with and make more colorless creatures all the time.
Yeah. Also relevant. She's a dwarf.
She is a dwarf, so like
That
your
means-
Magda matters.
Yup. And Magda makes treasure tokens. Treasure tokens matter.
Treasure tokens
Dude,
get populated.
populated in Jeskai is so weird.
No, because there were some white populate cards. So like
yeah, but
like the indestructible one that populated.
yeah, but there's it's Rootborn Defenses, by the way. I love
I
that
can remember
card.
that card.
I
Yeah,
love Rootborn Defenses. It's just interesting. I love the little servo she's holding in her hand.
yeah,
I
it's
really
a little cute bot. He's like, ooh, dude.
I really hope that that's the token they go with. I was looking over the tokens because they're reprinting the worm reform. Terrible card. It's so funny. It's the artwork is amazing because the worm dies and turns into a 3/3 fish, and then the fish dies and turns into 6/6 whale, and then the whale dies and turns into a kraken. They reprinted all of the tokens, but they didn't print the kraken token with the artwork on to go with the set. I think in the background of all the artworks is the next thing that's coming in and eating it.
So the funny thing for me for this is the last thing I'll say on this is that I'm interested to see what I can break in this deck, right? Because like number one, like squad, right? So I can pay a bunch of things into squad, and then they all have they all have, not all of them, but the first one has Fabricate 1, but then I can also populate the squad tokens.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, and it's something that it's a weird deck, and I'm excited to flex my muscles. But I also don't want to play with like my 19 millionth Jeskai deck. So
I mean, this is a fun blasting station deck too, because you just get to sack the free
yeah,
servo.
I feel like I get to just make like this is one of those where I just make a bunch of silly dorks and like don't do much, right? I might not win the game, but
And then aggravated assault.
aggravated assault.
I wish this were green. Triumph of the Horde. Let's go.
So next we got the Jund guy I was talking about, Corum the Undertaker, with the sickest art. This man has a hammer, and I'm here.
This is a Bloodborne boss.
100%. So this is a one colorless, a black, a red, and a green human warrior 0/5. But he gets +X/+O, where X is the greatest power among creature cards in all graveyards, including your opponent's. So that's super relevant. Whenever he attacks, each player mills a single card. That's a little depressing, but whatever. During each of your turns, you may play a land and cast a spell from among the cards in graveyards that are put there from libraries this turn. Not just your own.
This is, to me, this is a just as good, if it's slower, but I think it's more beatdown than Davy Jones.
The horror sub theme from him is like important in his deck.
Yeah.
Whereas this isn't as important. You don't really have a sub theme that's necessary. But it's like a Jund mill deck because you can cast spells and play lands from anybody's graveyards that were milled this turn.
And
So-
because I mean, Davy Jones gives it to you for free, but it's very specific.
Yeah, you
Like,
have
it's
to do
like
damage and like
Yeah, it's like a creature or an artifact as well.
Yeah, so like I can see this being like a Jund deck that plays Mesmeric Orb, right? Because you get
Yeah.
to untap your turn, mill a bunch, self mill a bunch, and play that, and then also you still have like a weird mill condition for everybody else at the table. But
And you can cast their instance. So like if you mill out somebody else's counterspell.
well,
you
no,
can
this is
just-
during each of your turns.
Is it each of your? I thought it was.
Yeah, during each of your turns, you may play a land.
No, that
or
was
cast a
that was
spell
put there.
from library
Oh,
this
yeah.
turn. So yeah,
That's lame.
it's
Never mind,
specifically
this
for
card's
you.
bad.
But I it's like an interesting take on this. Like it's a reanimator thing in a weird way. You're not like killing things from the fat battlefield and bringing them back. You're milling them into your graveyard and bringing them back all in one go. The only thing I wish he was like, whenever he attacks, each player mills cards equal to his power. I would enjoy that
Yeah.
because milling one card isn't that good. I want it to kind of be more of a self-contained engine, but
That's
Meh.
probably why that is the way that it is, though. I mean, this is definitely fun. I definitely see this probably being some kind of a problem.
I
I
can
mean,
see this
'cause-
being a Voltron deck very easily.
Oh yeah,
too.
and no, I'm gonna jam this for all the old Praetors. Oh, I want to say Grizzlebrand, but he's banned. I was watching a video
you
where
can-
reanimating Grizzlebrand was the goal.
I mean,
Um,
the big thing here, right, is that you play like stuff like crap, I can't remember the name of it, but there's like Buried Alive and things like that that throw cards from your
Entomb.
straight into the graveyard. And so like you throw like an Emrakul into the graveyard, so he gets +13 power, and then you swing
For a lot.
for 13. So like it's like this card feels like it's almost really good, but you probably have to jump through some hoops. So like if I'm not sure, again, I haven't read all the deck list in like full yet.
Sir Conrad is in the deck.
Well, I'd expect that. The big thing here is like if there's a lot of ways to throw cards, specific cards from your library into the graveyard, then I'm down.
Yeah, and like Deadbridge Chant is in the deck for sure too.
Mill 10 cards. But yeah.
I love and reanimate one at random every turn. Yeah, I love Deadbridge Chant. That's it's such a good meme.
One of
card.
the most underplayed cards, I think, in the color combination as far as like casual tables.
Yeah, there's a lot of good I mean, like there's a lot of huge creatures like Craterhoof. Hitting Craterhoof on this is disgusting. Titan of Industry, Galta.
Yeah, there's a lot of gigantic
Yeah.
boys.
Did
So
you
next
even
up,
care to cast.
next up we got Joyety Moag Ancient.
I touched on this one a little bit last week because it was a commander card, but there was a card that we talked about last week that this just kind of worked kind of well with, and I love this one, so I'm gonna take it from here.
Go ahead.
It's blue, green, and 2 for a 2/4 elemental. When it enters the battlefield, you make a 1/1 forest dryad land creature token for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. At the beginning of each combat, land creatures you control get +X/+X until the end of turn, where X is Joyti's power.
So this is an interesting card for me because I like the fact that it comes in and makes a mana the
Yeah.
first time, especially if it's in your command zone. The big thing here is like you have to find a way to cast it a bunch, which might not be the biggest hoop to go through, right? Because it does give you mana back every time it enters. But then I also want to find a way to buff its power to like do its thing. So I'm not really sure. Like it's definitely like a little bit more of a build around specific than it is a generalistically good
I mean,
card.
and it's also an elemental, which is incredibly relevant in Simic.
Yeah, it's more relevant in Teamer, but yeah, it's still.
Yeah. Well, you could
still...
always just not run. All right, we're running Rogak and a Simic partner. Like, let's do it. Like, this is what's happening now. We're just gonna cast Rogak 1,000 times.
Rogak and Triton.
Yeah, we're just gonna make an army of forest dryads. This is it. This is what we're doing now.
Yeah, I do like just making a bunch of, for all of us older gentlemen, the Dryad Arbors. Just making a bunch of Dryad Arbors. I like it.
Literally changed the rules of Magic the Gathering Dryad Arbor. Yeah.
So
I think you're right. I mean, it's Simic. We have +1/+1 counters play that we can use. I mean, I think this is a build around commander that does something fun. Do I see it being completely degenerate? Probably. Because you could run the Zendikar elemental that makes all of your creatures lands as well.
Yeah, you can do that. Shaya, you can do the X spell that makes a bunch of dryads.
Yeah.
You can do a bunch of stuff with this. It's really just about like, can you make a bunch of mana? Can you cast this a bunch of times to like get a bunch of forest dryads if it's important to the game plan? And can you do that while also finding a way to buff its power a bunch? Now, like a Craterhoof plus this, the game is over.
Oh yeah, Triumph of the Horde.
I mean, the big thing here is the +X because like if you play Craterhoof and you have at least like 3 or 4 other creatures, all of a sudden now you're getting the +4/+4, and then also the +6/+6 on all your creatures, all your land creatures. Yeah. So
doesn't give them trample though.
Yeah, that's why the Craterhoof's important.
Yeah.
Up next.
Oh, I love it. Hideous Taskmaster. It's a 7 mana Eldrazi, 6 in a red for a 7/2. It's devoid. Whenever you cast this spell, for each opponent, you get to take one of their creatures, you untap it, you give it trample, haste, and Annihilator 1 until the end of turn. And then guess what? Hideous Taskmaster has trample, haste, and Annihilator 1.
I think this card is dummy good.
I think it's
in an Eldrazi deck, the cost does not matter.
No,
like at all. This might as well say 4 mana. Like it doesn't matter.
No, I kind of, this card I wish was in Modern. Honestly, this card is so fun. Like in Modern, it's not good because it's still good. Like whatever. Like you're still.
I mean, there's
Annihilator 2 is relevant.
There's the card that you take your opponent's creature when it enters that was played in like Eldrazi Mirrors, because you would just steal like their 5/5 haster.
Reality Smasher, let's go.
Yeah. But
I love this art. I don't know. I think this does in Commander. It's fun. Like I don't even think you need to play this in an Eldrazi deck for it to be good. You could put it in the Slicer and it's just fine.
Yeah, I think it's a good red, or just a good solid red card. It dies to a lot, but at the same time, this is a cast trigger, so you get to take the creatures just for casting it anyway. So it's not like dependent on Hideous Taskmaster staying on the battlefield, which is the big thing. So like. Yeah. Even if they shock this, oh well, you still took 3 other creatures in a commander game most of the time, and get to attack with them. So
and hopefully you can sack them.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Goblin grenade. I will sack.
Well, they have to be goblins.
As a goblin grenade.
Goblin grenade has to be goblins, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Next we got I think this card's goofy. I wanted to talk about this card because of how goofy I think it is. Ulamog's Dreadsire. It's a 10 mana 10/10. It has vigilance and it has what I think is the funniest ward cost we have seen today. Ward, sacrifice a permanent with mana value 1 or greater.
Can't sacrifice lands.
You can sacrifice or you can sacrifice like
Copy
token
tokens.
copies, but
Yeah.
not tokens.
Yeah.
And then it has tap, like a 10/10 Eldrazi creature token. I think this is funny, and the reason I picked this, and the reason that I'm now realizing that this card exists, is what's it, Godsire? Tap, make an 8/8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what this is. That's what this is.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like
It was given
mean,
a ward and then makes an Eldrazi. So
and it has vigilance, so you still get to swing with it when you make the Eldrazi.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Just hilariously fun. Next, we have. I really like.
I just want Annihilator. That's really.
Yeah. I think Annihilator's a mistake of a mechanic. I'm kind of. I knew like they brought it back, but I think they brought it back where everything just has Annihilator 1. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Like that's more manageable.
Yeah. So we'll do Bismuth Mind Render. It's a black and 3 Eldrazi. It's 4/3. It has
Black and 3
Menachem.
Eldrazi. Like that's the cost. Like you're paying Eldrazi for it.
Yeah, might as well be. It has Menace, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they hit a non-land. You can cast that card by paying life instead of its mana value.
This could be good, but
Yeah.
like, and also like we have so many things that like you cast spells for free. So like, how much is this effect? I don't know.
I think this is at the point where it makes playing Ashiok decent.
Which one? Which one are you talking about?
The Eldraine one.
Oh,
Where it's, instead of paying life, you exile the top that many cards
Yeah.
off the top. If you're playing Eldrazi, you're already playing massive spells anyway.
I don't know.
I play Ashiok in standard. I think it's hilariously fun. The deck goes out the window at rotation because I'm using a crappy rare demon from Midnight Hunt, Crimson Vow, one of the two that does literally nothing in the deck, but let me pay my entire deck and to make colorless mana so that I win.
The big thing here is like, I'd like that it can't miss. Like you can miss like with a
Yeah.
bad spell, but you can't miss a spell you can't cast.
I mean, yeah,
So-
it's the best. It's the worst part of Vitali and the best part of Bolas' Citadel. Like,
Yeah. The big thing here is you have to deal damage with this creature. So like, we'll
but
see.
it has evasion. It does have evasion.
It does. Menace
And
is
I-
not to be like looked down upon. Menace is pretty good.
Yeah, I think Arena just added the sneaky reach V effect.
Yeah,
I think the
the
sneaky
glowing
menace
blow.
V effect is coming.
The
Like-
glowing bow. Yeah.
Yeah,
They got tired of the memes.
true. This next one is I think most people think down on 3 mana rocks, but this is a 3 mana rock that does something like
They-
so. The Hourglass of the Lost. It's a white and 2 for an artifact. It taps to add a white, and then you put a time counter on it, and then you can tap it and remove time counters from it and exile it, and then you can return each non-land permanent with mana value X from the graveyard to the battlefield. This is worse now that I realize that it says mana value X and not X or less.
Not saying extra less, I think makes this card garbage. It's
I mean,
because
it
you
does,
you have a 3 mana rock that you only want to tap every once in a while. Like once you get to
'cause
like
you
3.
don't have to remove all the time counters from it.
Oh, you're right. I guess you're
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So you can
That's a
still
little
get
better.
it to 30 and then
Yeah.
tap it,
But
remove
still-
8, reanimate an 8
I don't
drop or 7 drop.
But then you also have to exile the mana rock. So like
Yeah.
you traded your mana rock to like return some things, but
Hopefully an Avacyn. You're trading your mana rock to get an Avacyn. It's totally awesome. It's what I want to do.
But you have to have like the things in the graveyard, and graveyards are getting attacked all the time. So
True.
like, and like this is like something that this is like a one shot. This is something people see coming. So you play this, your graveyard's going to be going away. I don't like this card at all. I think that like not only because it's a 3 mana rocks. I think some 3 mana rocks are playable outside of like Chromatic Lantern and things like that. But like this one, I think it's just actually actively bad.
I think you play this 3 mana rock with just to play it as a 3 mana rock that is also hilariously a colored permanent that gets sniped by Ugin. Um,
You keep talking me out of this card, brother.
but it's I think you have it. It's kind of a target. Somebody is going to be scared of that second ability, and they're going to blow this up instead of something better because they're scared of what you're going to reanimate. And also, you can just jam this in Orzhov and reanimate something stupid.
I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Moving
It's
on.
one that I would try and then cut if it didn't work out.
Oh,
how I
I'd
wanted
cut it
to.
immediately. I'd cut it with a sharp knife right now. So the next one is Razorfield Ripper. It's a 2 and a white artifact creature equipment rhino. Whenever Razorfield Ripper or the equipped creature attacks, you get an energy. But then it also gets +X until end of turn, where X is the amount of energy you have. That is a statement. And it also has
Yeah.
Reconfigure, which is pay 2 or 3 energy. And you can attach this as an equipment to a creature if it was a creature.
If the typing on the card is the entire like thing, artifact creature equipment rhino, but I really want this to be legendary, not only so I can run this in the command zone, but so that typing has to get even smaller.
So many letters. Yeah.
I love Reconfigure as an ability. I think it's one of the best things we got from New Kamigawa. It's
one of the most fun things we got from New Kamigawa, yeah.
yeah, I like. Yeah, we gotta Invoke Despair. That's fun.
Yeah, but what I mean is like
Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
we also got Wandering Emperor, and like, but those aren't mechanics; these are cards. Like mechanics wise, we had Channel, which was all right, but we already had that before.
Yeah,
Reconfigure was like the new thing, and I
like Reconfigure. Yeah.
This is a huge energy payoff. This goes into like your Liberty Prime deck immediately because it attaches to Liberty Prime and makes you more energy and buffs Liberty Prime. So like this is 100% a card in that deck, like easy.
Yeah, there's another card coming up that goes into the deck just as well. And I love this card. I love the Reconfigure to pay. You can pay 2 or 3 energy.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
always paying 2 though. I want my energy.
True. But it's I don't know. I love it's like Bestow. Like Reconfigure is just the artifact version of Bestow, and I love Bestow as a permanent.
Makes sense.
And then Mutate is the crappy version of both.
Hey, listen. Mutate sometimes goes off. All right, next up we got Silver Quill Lecturer, which is 5 mana core wizard, 4 colorless, and a white.
I can see it on your face. You're questioning why this card is on here.
I'm not.
I want to talk about it. Because you already know.
I already know. But this thing has
degenerate.
Creature spells you cast have Demonstrate. So whenever you cast a creature spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Each copy becomes a token. So I might be more degenerate than you. So I'm going to let you talk about what your thought process is, and then I'm going to have a card in my mind, and I might even edit it in later. But we'll see.
Oh, I'm playing stacks.
Yeah.
I am
okay, we're on the same page.
I am casting creatures that do horrible things to me, and I'm giving everybody else one of them.
Well, you only give one opponent, so
you know what I mean.
You can spread the love a little bit, but
no,
there's
because I'm just gonna run this in. Oh God, I'm making Zedru stacks, aren't I? I'm making Zedru stacks here. So I'm gonna give my tokens away.
The funniest thing for me is I want to play like Steel Golem, which is a 3 mana dude that just says you can't cast creature spells, and just be like, here, you all can have Steel Golems.
I want to play. Even as a politics card, like I've got a RuneScarred demon who wants to tutor.
Yeah,
like this card's fun. I love the little inklings on the art.
I am 100% playing like the 6/6 Archfiend. I keep forgetting it's Archfiend of the Dross. I think it is the one that you lose the game. Yeah. So like I'm just gonna start the things are gonna get chaotic with me in this card. So Yeah, I'm excited.
I love stupid things like this. I kind of wish you could. I wish it was like demonstrate for each opponent you have, so you can just do it for
Listen,
everyone. But I could just make token copies of this,
you can
and
just donate things and just keep it moving.
yeah, I love this card. I wanted to put this on here. I mean, just so funny. Like it's just the stupid, rude things. The
Yeah, and like the
demonic taskmaster. Like at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature.
uh, this is gonna be like this is a card that like is gonna be bad in the deck, right? But I would just sit down and make it like Herald of Leshrac tokens and just be like everybody stealing each other's lands and we're just gonna play this game. But next up we got Aurora Shifter, which is a 1/3, a blue and a colorless shapeshifter. When it deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy. Oh man, it's my favorite thing.
That's why I put this in here just for you. This is the card that goes with the Rhino.
At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 2 energy, and when you do, it becomes a copy of another target creature you control, except for it has the whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy. So this is sick. This is a good energy payoff because you can make it a copy of another creature you control. So like you can have like a good energy enabler already on the battlefield, make a copy of it that has like a decent power toughness, beat them in the face, get back a bunch of energy and stuff, and it's just good. I think that
It's just good. Yeah.
it does go with the Rhino. It is pretty good with the Rhino because you get to put it on and then you get to just make energy, and every turn it keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think this is going to be one of the best energy generators if you have any way to buff it at all, which let's be real, there's going to be plenty of ways to do that.
There's a couple of problems with the card that like I know why they did it. We could both name the exact reason that the card's worded the way that it is. It becomes a total copy of that card.
Yeah, legendary
So-
cards don't work with it.
Yeah. And they did that because I'm just gonna make it Liberty Prime.
The big
And I'm gonna
the
swing at
big
you with
thing
2 Liberty Primes.
the big thing that does like suck about this card is that it's not like until end of turn, so it just becomes the copy of it forever. So you don't get to choose another copy.
It sure does.
So like it just becomes whatever that creature is, and you're not. It's not flexible after that. It doesn't continue to keep the copy ability.
Yeah, you're in blue, blink it. It'll be all right.
Yeah, I would say there's plenty of ways to reset this though. There's also like plenty of creatures that you want that having another one is just good anyway. And then
Yeah.
having the staple on of just making a crap ton of energy is also good. Like so I think that like it's still a good card and it will 100% see play in most if not all of these energy decks. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. We have next. I love this one. I put this one in
So
here
this one's
because
for you,
it's
yeah.
so silly. Yeah, March of Velis Vale. It's a blue and 2 sorcery. It's choose a non-basic land type. Each land you control of that type becomes a copy of target creature you control until end of turn. It gains haste until end of turn, and then it has flashback for a blue and 4. This is so funny. This is so funny.
this card reads terribly. There's a lot of things on it that you're just like, what? Wait, what? What do you what? I had to read it like 5 times to like grasp what the card
Well,
actually did.
And like the other thing is, it's like it doesn't like artifact is not a non-basic land type.
Yeah, you have to choose like Locust or Urza or something like Desert,
Yeah,
something like
this
that.
doesn't
But
just turn all of your fetch lands into
Yeah.
creatures, but they all have everything counters on them. Like this is just a synergistic card that is, to me, hilariously funny, and I just like these fun, goofy cards. If you blow somebody out with this, it's hilarious. Like it's so good, and that's just how I kind of feel about it.
I think it being non-basic limits it slightly to like pretty much only the Omo deck, but we'll see.
Well, they didn't. I mean, they just didn't want you to run it in.
I run it in mono blue every day.
That's why they did that. Yeah.
But like I think it's almost too limiting. to the point where like it becomes such a niche card for such a cool effect. But I guess that's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
It is each land. It's not like a one target land situation. So like I can see that being a thing.
this is also only 3 mana. If you
Yep.
can, I mean, if you can animate 3 lands with this, and there's so many lands in the deck that are like this land is every land type and things like that. So
Yeah,
Vesuva, I
you give a
mean,
super
it's
thespian stage or anything like that. The big thing is making sure your non-basics have land types that matter
yeah,
and that aren't basic land types. So like it doesn't work with like the non-basics that have land types, like basic land types. It doesn't work with those. So you don't get to play like Cinder Glade, and that can become something because it only has Forest Mountain as the land types, and those are basic land types.
yeah.
So you can't choose those. So like
It's funny.
it's very specifically pretty much for these weird like Locust Desert, like those styles,
Caves. I mean,
Urza
these are,
caves, like that style of deck. And I almost feel like it's pretty much only going to see play in the Omo deck, which is okay, but we'll see. Up next, we have Tempt with Mayhem, which is red, and a colorless instant with Tempting Offer. Choose target instant or sorcery spell. Each opponent may copy that spell and may choose new targets for the copy they control. You copy that spell once plus an additional time for each opponent who copied the spell this way. You may choose new targets for the copies you control.
this card's hilarious.
This card's this card's gonna be ridiculous. This is gonna be such a silly thing to cast. It's gonna be chaos, and I love it.
I so much. I love the Rakdos artwork. Like I love Tempting Offer. Like I think Tempting Offer is just such a good commander mechanic. Like Commander gets these fun, goofy mechanics that like don't really like work in 60 card 1v1 formats.
Yeah,
Tempting Offer is one of those. And I think like Council Dilemma is not really a good one either. Like
yeah.
like
Council Limits,
voting-
you have to have 4 players. Like
yeah. What's the one Minds Aglow? That one where everybody can pay.
join forces. Yeah,
Join forces. Yeah. Like it's I love this. I love Tempt with Discovery. I run it and every green deck that I possibly can because I don't care that you're gonna go get your Reliquary Tower. I'm gonna go get my Reliquary Tower and 2 other terrible things. As for what in God's name you target
yeah.
with this?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what is the spell? Like, what is the good spell that like you? The funniest thing with this is that like you want to copy a spell that everybody's gonna want a copy of, but they also don't want to give you 5 copies of it.
Rev.
Oh, sorry, 4 copies of it.
Yes,
So,
Sphinx's
like-
Revelation is killer. I'll copy that all day. What is the Cyclonic Rift? So that's a cute Cyclonic Rift you got there, bud.
Well, if they
It'd be a
overload
shame to-
Cyclonic Rift, it's like, I guess you effectively pick up everything at that point.
It's an evacuation at that
Yeah,
point. Everybody
but-
picks up everything.
I don't
What's-
know. Like, I hit this with a Cultivate. I'll take 4 copies of
y-
Cultivate every day.
I'll take 4. Yup.
Like,
Yeah, that. What is
like you want to
I
hit
mean,
something
dude-
with like draw cards or like ramp mana. Like every
Yeah.
single time, like if you hit one of those spells, it's gonna be so hard for players to be like, nah, I'm good, unless they're
I don't
so
wanna
far
do
ahead.
that.
So yeah.
Like what is there a good it's like somebody hits you with a Debt to the Deathless. Like, oh, okay, I'll make 4 Debt to the Deathlesses. It's okay. I mean, you just lose if you copy it. Odds are, like
Well,
the
yeah,
game's
like,
over if you
yeah.
copy it once. But it's oh god, Triumph of the Horde. Like somebody says, I'm gonna Triumph of the Horde. It's like cool.
So's everybody else.
So we're all gonna Triumph of the Horde. That's right.
Yeah, it's like a weird. It's like a funny, weird politic way to play the card. But yeah,
Jam this in every red deck. Just have fun with it.
yeah, this is definitely a for fun card. There's so many weird things that this card does, and like you put your opponents like to me, this is like the definition of like a torture mechanic because in this situation, like you choose the right spell and you put all of the rest of the table in like a bind because like they want that spell really bad, but do they want to give you 4 copies of that spell.
I
So,
mean, think about how fun this is with Nexus of Fate. Like any extra turn spell. Let me. You guys want to give me
nobody's
4?
giving you that. Not a single person is giving you that. Except for that one dude who's like, "Nah, dude, I'll take that."
I
turn."
got you, fam.
Yeah.
This is for us. This
The,
is
the other cool thing I do like with this is that like it's not specific to a spell you don't control. So like you can cast a spell that you like, and also tempt with mayhem it. So
Yeah.
that's cool. But yeah, this is like definitely just a really fun red card, and I like seeing cards like this.
it's good. It goes hilarious with counter spells. It's just
So suddenly there's 8 copies of this counter spell in the stack, and we're all just
how many copies of Remand do we need on the stack?
I just want cards, man.
I'm gonna mana drain this.
Somebody arcane
50
denials. Somebody arcane denials something. And you're like, how about we all just draw a bunch of cards?
We're all friends here.
What if we just make arcane denial a group hug card? Like the original spell, we can ignore that because everybody's drawing 6 cards.
Yeah, woo-hoo, so what? All your spells got countered. Like, you got 6 cards. Like, let's do this. All right, let's move on.
So next we got aggressive biomancy. What is this card?
This card I put on here, I am calling it We Have Doppelganger at Home. It's a green, a blue, and double X. It's a sorcery. You get X tokens that are copies of target creature you control, except they have when this creature enters the battlefield and fights up to 1 target creature you don't control.
This card is bonkers in Simic decks. Like Simic decks just make a bunch of mana. So you get
And
to
it's like, oh, I'm gonna make like 6 crater hoofs. Like,
well, it's not even like Crater Hoofs. It's like this is like there's so many Simic value engines. Like you play blue and green, you just get a bunch of random value for existing, right?
well, doesn't this
And then-
also just make you win like immediately with
A bunch of cards.
Biomancer?
Well, yeah. Because you can just put 4 by. Oh my god, I hate that you brought that
I'm
up.
gonna make 10 biomancers. Good luck, everybody else. I'm gonna make 10 biomancers and then phase out. Good
Why-
luck. Have fun.
Oh my god. That's so stupid. You know this card that's a 1-of, but you have to have 4 copies of it on the battlefield to win the game? I'm
I
running
got
it.
10 of them. I got 10 of them.
But yeah, so like I like this card mostly because it has the fight clause on it because all these creatures on the battlefield can fight something. So at least it has removal, so it's not like I just did a big thing and then like I'll get wrath. It can also just be a one-sided wrath in some cases.
And
But-
it's like it makes X copies of 1 creature.
Yeah.
So like you could just do it with a 1/1 snake that has death touch and
I-
just wrath the board.
So something fun, like I almost wish this was in standard for one reason and one reason only. I just want to see how many copies of Vaultboard Tyrant I can make, and just draw my
Doppelganger,
whole
just play
library.
Doppelganger. It's fine.
Draw my whole library because I can. But
Vaultboard Tyrant, $40. Let's go. Paid for this. Paid for this.
but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think like Simitex can play this phenomenally well. There are definitely creatures that you want to have multiple copies of that creature, and you can't because it's a singleton format. But besides from that, like I don't see. There's probably gonna have another niche applications in decks where you like want like 15 copies of Risen Reef, like
And it's also the fighting is a May effect.
yeah, they don't have to. Well, it's not a May,
So-
but it fights up to.
Yeah, you just
So it's kind of a
like,
May, but yeah, it's interesting to say the least. I would love to see this like copy Master Biomancer a bunch of times. So like they all enter with 2+X
a
counters.
billion counters.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see.
And doubling season, parallel lives, like
The normal
it's
green shenanigans.
the
Yeah.
normal green shenanigans. Yeah, I would run this in Bant is what I would do with it.
You also make tokens. So yeah, you got your parallel lives, you got your anointed processions,
I
you
would
got your
I would
doubling
run
seasons.
this in Bant, and I would run this in Sultai, and I'm just gonna make all of the annoying 4 mana of 1 color Phyrexian creatures. Like I've got
Nah,
50 obliterators. What do you guys want to do?
I really wish No, you can run it in the golem deck in the new chef deck that makes the every time you make a golem.
Oh yeah.
So like you just make a bunch of splicers with this and just crap ton a bunch of golems out.
Dumb card. It's so funny.
So next we have Trench Post, which is a new Locust land, which is a land type that nobody
Yay.
plays anymore because they got banned out of existence, and it's
12 posts did go burr.
and it's not good in Commander because you can only have one copy of each of these lands. But with Omo, all your lands become locusts, so you get to do a bunch of cool, crazy stuff. So this is Trench Post, land locust, tap, add a colorless, 3, tap it, target player mills a card for each locust you control. That
And
is a win condition of its own.
And for people that don't know, put them here. There's the other 2 locust lands. The one gains you life when it enters the battlefield.
Yeah, for each locust.
And then the other one taps for colorless mana for each for each locust you have.
Yeah. I would love to see more locust support, but they are obnoxious. It's like slivers, right? Like
They're so broken.
Like original slivers were like stupid. The big thing is at least these don't count each other like opponents like slivers did originally. But like
true.
I don't see much more locust support coming ever, but I think this is the commander that gets to have fun with it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, it's never going to be a legacy deck. The mana producing locust is just banned out of existence.
Yeah,
like 12 post was such a fun deck. Like RIP the goat, but it is what it is.
And it just becomes like it's like, hey, 1 mana, 4 mana, 7 mana. Like it just goes up like crazy.
This one land taps for
9 mana,
16 mana.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna tap this one land and play an Emrakul.
This is our colorless Nykthos at home.
Yeah, for real.
Next up, we have another land which you put on here because it has every non-basic land type. So this is also a locust.
They're new lands. They're relevant for the set. My Alexa just turned the lights off.
So this is a Planar Nexus. It's every non-basic land type. So it includes Cave, Desert, Gate, Lair, Locust, Mine, Power Plant, Sphere, Tower, and Urzas. I like how they stuck like probably the most important types on that list. You can tap to add a colorless or tap 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Yeah, I think I put these on here just because it was like 3 new lands that are kind of relevant to the lands deck.
Yeah, like I wonder if Omo, like, I don't know if there's a spell. There probably is, and I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But I want to know if there's like a spell that allows me to copy a counter on target permanent and put it on all permanents I control, because that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just to like speed up my everything counters, because once they have everything counters on it, I don't have to worry about it anymore, right?
Yeah.
I just have to keep Omo in the battlefield.
So,
but
the next land,
I'm all about this interesting situation.
I love fun lands. So this next land is Talon Gates of Madara.
Madara. This is Madara Uchiha.
Oh my god, nerds! It's a gate. This is the whole reason I put this on here is for this ETB. When it enters battlefield, up to 1 target creature phases out. It's not 1 target creature you control. It's anybody's. You just phase somebody's creature out.
I don't like that. Stop it.
It's so. What do you mean? That's.
No, what I mean is like I don't like what your creature's doing. Get out of here.
Oh yeah. That taps to add a colorless. You get it filters. Tap 1, tap it, make it one any color. And then you can pay 4 to put it from your hand into play
at instant speed.
Which is also hilarious.
Such a funny trick. Like you're holding up 4 mana and they're like thinking a bunch of silly stuff, and you're just like, I'm playing a land.
At 4 mana, yeah.
Welcome to my Maze of Ith at home.
It's so fun. I don't know. Like it's goofy. Like it's format with bounce lands, so you can always bounce it back to your hand. You can run terrible Moonfolk and bounce it back to your hand.
Bounce lands are going to be kind of sick with this. But bounce lands are already really good in Commander because of MDFCs and things like that. I think they've gone up in price crazy.
The surveillance are so good.
I think the bounce lands have just gone up in stock. Like, I think you have to play them almost every single one you can.
Yeah, because like Strip Mine is down.
Yeah.
So and like
unless you're me and I play Strip Mine in every deck.
Yeah,
because
and I think I just think Field of Ruin is better in Commander than Strip Mine is, just because I don't want to be down the land either.
But also, Strip Mine doesn't answer like the Field of Ruin decks because they play lands from the graveyard constantly, right? So
Yeah.
But if I'm going to lie to you, I want to know where Madara is. I want to know what this is going on. I need story relevance.
Comes out of the gate.
Cause you know I'm thinking my anime, but this is telling me it's like a place.
You're not getting a Naruto Universes Beyond.
Oh, you don't tell me, baby.
That ninjutsu set will be dumb.
Listen, we got Hatsune Miku. All right, you better calm down.
No,
Anime's coming, baby. The big thing here is like, I wish it wasn't like a Spire Land, but it is what it is. The fact that I can phase something out is interesting because you can do it to like your opponents, like when they go to equip it or target something or attack or any weird
also
stuff.
Colorless and uncounterable.
Yeah, it just puts it on the battlefield and it happens. Except unless you're doing like Tidebinder.
Yeah, Stifle.
Stupid things like that. But if you play Stifle in Commander, then you're ballsy, number one. You could play like Void Slime. That's a little bit better. Tiebinder's better, but yeah.
Hey, I will stifle a fetch land. Don't even think I will.
Shadow of Doubt.
Yeah. This next slide is and for the audio listeners, it's all the Lurgoyfs, all the new Lurgoyfs. Like I said, we're not going to go over these too much.
Yeah.
There's 5 new Lurgoyfs so far, and then 1 reprint. The reprint is of course Lurgoyf.
I think all the decks are spoiled as of today, but they aren't up yet. So I haven't. So there might be more cards we'll talk about later, but
I mean, they're all the Lurgoyfs. They all have goofy power. Oh yeah, because I didn't see the kicker Lurgoyf.
Yeah,
and in the thing, but like they all have, like there's one with Trample and Myriad. There's one with Death Touch and Lifelink. Like there's a Madness one, and they all have power and toughness equal to the number of card types +1 and things like that. And they're all just funny, goofy little guys. The artwork for all of them is sick. The artwork for all of them is so good.
Yeah,
the new Lurgoyf art it looks like one of the monsters from Riddick, the new Riddick movie, newer Riddick movie. Yeah.
So the funniest thing for me is that like from these pictures, I know audio listeners can't see them, but if you look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. They don't have a consistent idea of what a Lurgoyf looks like, which I think is hilarious to me, and like it makes me want to know more about the creature type as a whole, because like Polygoyf, the Trample Myriad one, he's a bipedal 3-headed monstrosity, right?
Dude, the claws are incredible.
Insane. And then you got Pyrogoyf, which is like a dog with tusks. Yeah. So like they aren't the same thing. So like it's not a consistent basis, which I think is a chosen thing in the artwork, is like part of like the design.
And then like the Mortivore is like a weird shadowy.
Yeah, I want to learn more about this creature type somehow. I don't know how, but I want to know. Like, I feel like you become a Lurgoyf. I don't think that you are born a Lurgoyf. I think you become one somehow.
I could see that. So next we go back. The next card here we have Altar of the Goyf. It's a 5-mana Kindred artifact Lurgoyf, and whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X/+X until the end of turn, where X is the number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and then it gives your Lurgoyf's creatures trample.
This, I don't know what to make of this. This is gonna be fun in like something like Exalted decks, because like the creature doesn't have to be a Lurgoyf that attacks alone. It's anything that attacks alone. So like Exalted decks will love this.
I mostly just put this in here because it was a Lurgoyf synergy.
Yeah, I do like the Kindred.
Lurgoyf itself, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that it's a Lurgoyf artifact, not a creature. I think that's kind of fun.
But the Kindred. We'll I like the Kindred things. Like Kindred looks so good on the card.
Yeah, it's definitely a way better type than Typal or Tribal was. I think Kindred just reads better anyway.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that change. All right, this is like
I wish this was legendary. Gas. I wish this was legendary so bad. I want this in my command zone. It's a Gluttonous Hellkite. It's XX black red green for a 3/3 Durgan. It when you cast this spell, each player sacrifices X creatures. Gluttonous Hellkite enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters for each creature sacrificed this way. Flying trample.
Gas.
Gas. I wanted this to be. I thought this was legendary. I had my feelings hurt because it's just not legendary. And I mean, it probably shouldn't be. The artwork has the cool little birds on it. Like, this is an Alara card, like, very clearly by the artwork. It's awesome.
I'm pretty sure this is a callback to another card that I can't think of off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure this is another dragon that's supposed to be like that dragon grown up.
Yeah.
I can't remember it right now, but if I can, I'll add it.
Devour was the Jund mechanic, right?
Yeah, Devour was the Jund mechanic. Yeah. I love this because like it's removal, it grows itself, and it's got two very important keywords.
Yeah, and it's a cast trigger.
And it's a cast trigger. So like,
yeah.
I'm
counter it
all for this.
Yeah, I did. Is this card? I mean, I think you just run this like anyway. Like, it doesn't matter.
I think Jund card decks are gonna be like, all right, well, I gotta find the slot for this card, unless of course you're playing like more of like a CDH style.
I mean, if you're playing Grave Pact, like,
stupid.
You hit your opponent for 2 creatures.
Dictate of Erebos, like any sacrifice synergy. You play Crush the Bloodbraided because it hits you too. So like now you get to buff Crush off crap ton.
Yeah, so awesome. Again, this is a playmat too. This artwork is a playmat. If you haven't seen
it's a playmat.
Hellkite, look it up.
I'm in.
What do we have? Okay, so next we're getting into some reprints. Reprints that I think, because I made the PowerPoint today, reprints that I think are good reprints that needed to be reprint for price sake, not necessarily
price and accessibility.
Yeah, like Eldrazi Conscriptions is our first one. It does now have the Kindred super type.
I like it.
It looks good on the card. Yeah, it's 8 mana. Your enchanted creature gets 10+10+10 trample and Annihilator 2. This card was like $10-ish plus dollars. I think having it reprinted is good. Morph on the Boundless. We all remember our big shapeshifter boy, 7/7 changeling, or 7 mana 6/6 changeling. Choose a creature type, makes all your cost WUBRG less, and gives them +1/+1. This is another one. It's more than $10. Seeing it get reprinted absolutely doesn't hurt anyone at all. The price accessibility of the game is the main reason we play on Tabletop Simulator. It's the reason that open party programs that are questionable legalities exist. So geese, yeah, seeing things get reprinted so that people can play these older cards. Well, Eldrazi Conscription being the older card is awesome.
Yep. I love putting a Eldrazi Conscription on anything, so I'm always there for it. +10/+10.
The next slide is the one you're going to be mad at me for.
Oh god. More fun. More fun does a lot of things, so I'm just happy that it's hopefully more accessible to players. The big thing for me is like the cost of the decks might scare some players away, but we'll see.
Yeah, Morphon. The big thing with Morphon, he was our first like 5-color colorless commander.
Yeah,
like our first good one. There was like the Ramos Dragon Engine and some other like bad ones, but like Morphon's definitely the best.
Yeah.
So this slide is Arma is visibly angry with this slide. There's 2 cards on this slide, audio listeners, and it's Imprisoned in the Moon and Coveted Jewel. Imprisoned in the Moon is hilarious to be printed in this commander set because there's an Eldrazi deck, and Imprisoned in the Moon is not in that Eldrazi deck. And it's a good card anyway. It's not expensive. It's just hilariously fun for 3 mana. Turn your opponent's commander into a land.
I will say I love the art on this reprint. I love Emrakul like actually getting sucked up into the moon in this reprint. I love that. Also, the fact that it is Emrakul getting sucked up into the moon is extremely flavorful.
Also, fun fact: if I imprison in the moon your Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger, and then I Thespian stage your Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger land, I just get the creature Ulamog, and that is hilarious.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's not a land. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
copy it because it's technically a land, but the land it being a land is not a copyable trait.
Yeah.
So I just copy the copyable trait, which is the creature card.
Yep. My brain didn't understand what you were saying until afterwards, but yes.
And then there's always Coveted Jewel. Coveted Jewel is one of the best cards for Commander because Coveted Jewel is like we heard you like Monarch, so we monarched your Monarch into another like super Monarch. I think every Commander deck should run this that's playing for fun. Like it's 6 mana, it ETBs you draw 3, it taps to give you 3 mana of any color, but if you don't block an opponent's creature, they gain control and they untap it and draw 3 cards. It's so funny.
I hate this card.
I could make a mini game around this card.
I hate Coveted Jewel so much because like the game becomes about Coveted Jewel. Like the whole game becomes people trading us around the battlefield, and I'm not about it.
It's just we're here to have fun. And I guess at this point in time, I am now going to make a Coveted Jewel mini game. I don't necessarily
I can
know.
feel you making a deck to troll me where it's like copy artifact, Phyrexian Metamorph, things like that, and all it is just ways to copy freaking Coveted Jewel.
It's so funny. It's cool that these are both getting like coming in precons because they're both good cards. Like card like Imprisoned in the Moon is super good. All of our blue decks at our tables run it.
Yeah.
It's just like Song of the Dryad. Like let me give the fun, haha, your commander is a land now effects. And it's Darksteel Mutation. Let's go. But we'll move on off of this. Also, there is a Planeswalker in. Is it in? Are they in every? Does the Jund one get 2 Planeswalkers, 3 Planeswalkers? Like, because I didn't have the deck list. I didn't look at the deck list. I was just scrolling through it on Scryfall. And so we're getting in this commander set. There are 5 Planeswalkers. It's Vivian Reed, Garruk Apex Predator, the boy, Nissa Steward of Elements, Liliana Death's Majesty, and Grist the Hunger Tide.
So yeah, number one, I think all 5 of these Planeswalkers are very good. Especially
I love Apex Predator.
I mean, yeah, Garruk's the man. But I think like all 5 of these cards are very good in the format because it's like Vivian Reed, you get to do a naturalize style effect. You also get to find a creature, right? Garruk kills everything.
Everything doesn't matter.
Nissa ticks up very quickly, and also the 0 is not to be messed with. Liliana Death's Majesty gets to reanimate things for -3, which is huge. And then Grist is just a really good card.
Like it's just a good card. I am glad to see Planeswalkers printed, like good Planeswalkers printed in pre-constructed decks.
Yeah.
Wizards when it comes to like Wizard made precons, they've always kind of been gate kept on value. Like we know that legally Wizards has to ignore the secondary market, but we know that like they don't. Like
not at all.
Like, but to see like I think out of all of these, I think Grist is the only one that might be like a decent price monetarily.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I didn't look it up. I forgot to. But like to see just a card that's worth, or cards that are good, be in a pre-constructed deck is heartwarming. Because I mean, like I think like they used to make the crappy Planeswalker decks where it was like, who wants a 6-mana Oko that does nothing?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like because Wizards knows that people are going to buy packs to try to get Okos. They don't care that the Oko is $50 in the secondary market. They're not going to print it because it's $50 in the secondary market, and they know you're going to keep buying packs to try to pull them. So it's nice to see cards that the Planeswalkers that don't suck get printed into pre-constructed decks for Hopefully, what are they? Please tell me these decks are $60.
Probably not. The big thing for me is that I love Garrick, and I love
I
that
do
Garrick
too.
is getting reprinted. I
I
think
love Garrett.
I love this version of Garrick the most. I think that he is gas. I also just want another Garrick card, so please, Wizards, give me another Garrick card,
More Garricks, please.
please.
He's just a poor boy. He just wants. I mean, he doesn't want everybody to die anymore. So let's like we've redeemed him. Let's bring him back.
All right, so now we got I think it was the last slide.
Yes. So this, along with Wizards gatekeeping of things, the land base in Commander decks has always been crap.
Yeah, it's been
Just
dog. Like we
dude,
got like the
like
bad filter lands, like the ones that
the
you pay one.
worst possible mana
Yeah,
base. Like, and they did a whole set of Commander decks that were 4 colors, and the mana base is unplayable. Like, it's just bad. So for the video watchers, they just put words up. For the audio listeners, you're not missing pictures, but they're putting the pain lands in. The pain lands are good. I mean, there's no doubt.
especially good in that color in the 5 color Eldrazi deck. Like
Yeah,
you play all your pain lands in those because
the and like the pain lands are like worth money. Like they're not,
they're not
you know,
$0.
they're not $0. Like the price matters. If I have to buy, if they're, I'm gonna throw out a random price and I'm gonna get yelled at. But like if all the paint lanes average $3 and you have to buy them, like you spend $15 on 5 lands.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, you still have to get 30 more lands. So let's do it. Also they're putting the Tango lands in, which are the ones that you have to have 2 or more other lands for them to enter
Yeah,
on
like
tap.
Sunken Hollow, Cinderglade style, but they're
You know,
fetchable.
yeah, but they're fetchable. These are good. Like this is just good. Like let's
They
give
have
me
they
more of
have been
this.
slowly putting in more Tango lands into the precons, but it's good to see like them alongside the rest because like it felt like for a while that they were like, we have a Tango land, so like that's most of our budget as
Yeah.
far as like good lands is concerned.
There were no triomes in any of the deck. That made me kind of in any of the decks. That makes me kind of sad. But whatever. We are getting all the Tron lands, so I'm assuming, God, I'm hoping and praying that it's only in the Simic deck and not in the Eldrazi deck. But all 3 Tron lands will be there. And if those of you that are unfamiliar, the Tron lands are the 3 Urza lands that with the combined all tap for 7 mana.
Yeah, there's this power plant,
Mine
tower
and
and mine.
tower. We're getting the other 2 Locust lands are getting printed again, so they'll be worth at least 3 of their effect piece, which is kind of cool. Just base. The Scry Temple or the
Skylands.
Scry lands.
Yeah, the
The
Skylands they've been
lands,
keeping.
yeah, are the ones that you can pay mana to scry with. They're, I think
Eh.
they're better than. They're worth noting just because like they're not like crap.
Yeah,
Like they're all dual lands.
fair.
So
Temples have like been kind of like replaced by Surveil lands, but like temples are still good cards to have.
I think, I don't know, like I like Scry better than Surveil most of the time. But the thing that makes the Surveil lands better is that the temples aren't a land type.
Yeah, they aren't
Surveil
fetchable.
lands are fetchable.
Yep.
We're getting the Eldraine Castle cycle. I don't think any of these are worth a lot of money anymore,
Yeah.
but they're all good. Like
The green one's really good in Commander. The black
the
one
black
can be
one's
very
really
good in
good.
Commander. So
yeah, the white one,
meh.
if you build a deck for the white one does what you want it to do.
Meh.
It's the Snarls. I know Snarls are a hot topic among people. They're good and they're bad. I mean,
they're bad, but they're
added-
good in precon like
Yeah,
mana bases.
like-
So
like even in a 2-color deck, like you're still running a fair amount of basics. Like also a lot of your duels are typed now, have the basic land types. So like at worst, it's a tap land late game. At best, it's a turn 1 untapped dual land.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yavimaya, the green Urborg,
Cradle of Growth.
Turn-
Yep.
turns all of your all lands into forests. I think that's cool to see put in a deck. I wish
Yeah, it's
they
a
would've
good
put
reprint too.
Yeah, I think they should have put Urborg in here too. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, not the really really old one that doesn't do anything of value. And then they put some creature lands in here for us too. The creature lands are always good. It's the old creature lands. It's not the new ones. There's no Restless Bivouac.
Yeah, the
No.
restless cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's important here because like you have to kind of give Wizards their props when they do something in the right direction. And I think this is like in the right direction. They saw like their Umo deck and they were like, well, this is really good with Tron lands, Locust lands, and stuff like that. So let's slide those in. So I like that they took that direction. I like that they included the Pain lands for most likely the five color colorless deck. I enjoy that they're making these steps. Now I do wish there's still like more steps to go, right? But I do enjoy that they're willing to do this to some extent.
Yeah, and like the Shocklands, like I don't expect Shocklands to ever be in a pre-constructed deck. Like more than one. I think we maybe because back in RTR, my yeah, back in Return to Ravnica, they did the pre-constructed decks. The event were they event decks? I don't
Decks,
remember.
yeah.
The one that came with Thragtusk, and then
Yeah.
the one came with Reckoner, and I think the one that came with Reckoner came with the Shockland.
Yeah, it came with one Sacred Foundry, yeah.
Yeah, which like that's cool. Like give them one, but I think because so sure collectors are the reason the reserve list exists. The reserve list is a mistake, but it is what it is. It is Wizards makes this for money.
I think
Uh,
the big thing for me is not necessarily the Shocklands because they use the Shocklands a lot for like promotional purposes. Like the
yeah.
whole Clue set was like almost all the like the promotional material was like you get a Shockland with every Clue set. So like they use it for promotional reasons. The same thing for the latest Unset. It was big on Galaxy
Oh,
foil alternate art Shocklands. So like I understand my
but
thing.
those weren't free either. Like you had to buy
Yeah.
those packs, and those packs were still retail price.
I think my big thing is that I want to see the triomes get printed to heck. I want them to be
Yeah.
in every commander deck they can possibly be in because they're doing nothing but going up in price.
Honestly, channel lands too.
Same thing with channel lands. Print the crap out of them.
Just there's no reason not to. Don't I mean like they'll have to make up a set to reprint triomes in. And so and that's like the problem with naming the lands
That's what to
after
say.
locations.
Like
Yeah.
the triomes are specifically named after locations on those planes. So unless we go back to those planes, we can't get a reprint unless it is in like a commander product. So or it's like in a Modern Masters thing where they just you get to just throw spells and stuff at the wall. But that's the big thing is that like Shocklands are not uniquely named, so they do get to be printed in like these like other different formats, but like your triomes don't. So like I really want to see them just kind of start shoving triomes into decks.
And the triomes are split between two planes as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we can get all
So-
10 very easily. So yeah, I think that's the next step. Like, and I think that is like a more reasonable step than some people being like print Shocklands.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like, I think fetch lands should be just cheaper too.
well,
at this
fetch
point.
lands have been getting printed a lot. Like even
Yeah.
this set has the older cycle of fetch lands in it. So like, well, not the older cycle, but this has like the polluted deltas from like Khans of Tarkir
Yeah.
block reprints, which is like good. I'm glad that they're reprinting them again. They bring their price back down. Like now the fetch lands aren't ridiculously expensive. Scalding Tarns aren't $80 like they were at one point. So like I'm happy about that. And like making the game more accessible in that aspect is good. The only thing in my issue is like we have one printing of the triomes, period. And you've printed multiple multicolored decks and haven't included them. Like you've included Mystic Sanctuary, or not Mystic Sanctuary, whichever one, the Jeskai one that doesn't have the types, like the ones from original cons that didn't have the land types.
Yeah.
Like you've printed those in every single deck you can. And that just tells me that you're acknowledging the secondary market without acknowledging the secondary market. Like
When
just
the- I
print the
think-
right ones.
I think in Bloomborough, I think if they do Bloomborough precons, I think those will have triumphs in them because
They
they'll be rotating out of standard.
they won't have triumphs in them because they're two
The
colors.
dual color set, yeah.
It's a dual color set, so they will
Well,
not. They will
maybe
not be three colors. So you will not
maybe
get
our
triumphs.
next our next commander set where they do 3 colors will get
I don't.
triumphs in them.
I don't think so because we've had multiple 3-color decks printed set in the colors.
But they're still in
since
standard. I think what's the
no,
new
I'm,
standard?
no, I'm
the
talking about the
changes.
other ones. I'm talking about the ones from Ikoria. We've had multiple 3-color decks from Ikoria since Ikoria, and they've
Oh,
never been
yeah.
reprinted in them.
I forgot that those weren't in standard.
Yeah, the first 5 were in Ikoria,
Yeah.
and they've never been reprinted, besides from like special printings, probably. So like, come on,
The real triumphs. Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, I don't know. Like, they shouldn't have done them that way because they can't print them under a different name. They would have to do the weird, goofy thing where they theme it after the set and then just do the little drop down for the name.
Yeah, but this is also, I think this is also the fallback from getting rid of core sets. This is like another tangent, and I apologize, audio listeners. This is completely different, right? But the big thing is like getting rid of core sets makes it so that you can't print a bunch of random things from random planes that you named specifically to those planes into standard sets anymore.
Bring back block rotation. Let's go.
Yeah, because like you gotta remember like in a lot of the core sets, like we got Sun Titan, Grave Titan, Frost Titan, all those the Titan cycle, but we didn't get them in like regular sets. We always got them in core sets. We always got like your negates because they never rotated out, your duresses so they never rotated out, things like that
Yeah.
were always in the core sets, and that freed up slots in your actual block sets. And now without the core sets, they don't have a spot to reprint these cards into standard unless we revisit those planes, which we're
Or
not
we
always
do
going to be able
some-
to.
Or we do some weird thing where they do like an origin set list and it's like cards in the origin set list never rotate out of standard.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
'Cause we're getting too close to Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, we're turning into
no, that's
Yu-Gi-Oh.
that's just a full Hearthstone thing. Because Hearthstone has the base set, and that base set never rotates out.
Oh.
That's 100% like a Hearthstone thing.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they have to reprint the base set every X amount of time, like every X amount of years, to make sure they're readily accessible all the time. So like, I don't think they're going to do that either.
I mean, at that point though, they could just like print them, sell them, and then like, oh, we're getting kind of low. Let's print a couple of more base sets and sell them.
Yeah, but that breaks the secondary market, and they
yeah.
don't want that.
Well, if it's the secondary market for Duress and Sun Titan.
No, but things like this, like these lands
yeah,
that like are steadily going up in price because of Commander and lack of resources to find them.
and the fact that Domain is still a valid deck in
Modern, yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
guys,
my little tangent about
no, it's a good one.
reprints, but
It's
yeah,
I mean reprints are necessary. Let's wrap it up. It's been a good episode. Hopefully
Yeah.
we came in
so
under
that was
2 hours.
yeah. We did good. This an hour and a half, baby. Let's go.
Oh, that's what we're aiming for.
So the big thing here is, guys, hit all them buttons for all our audio listeners.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, all that fun stuff. YouTube's
Drop the follow on Spotify. Drop the subscription.
hit
Leave us
rate
a
us.
comment.
Yeah, hit the
Rate
5
us,
stars.
yeah.
Because we're the
Just
best
like my
Magic
mom, right? Give
podcast
us a
based on
5-star.
Slay's mom.
Yeah.
The big thing, like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that funny YouTube stuff for all our video listeners.
Join the Discord.
Yeah.
We're trying to build that community up, get things rolling. We're not selling merch, but I have been making.
we
shirts
have
and my
had been having fun. So yeah,
my ADHD takes over and I'm making shirts. So
there might be some fun land destruction themed shirts that he has sent
boy
me.
howdy. Well, guys, I think that's gonna be it for this week. We'll thank you guys for coming out, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, peace out.